bookworms, welcome back to my channel and to another review. This time I decided to put aside for a moment the books about haunted houses and horror, ghosts, gore, and instead talk about a funny book focuses on a funeral. Today I'm going to be talking about This Is Where I Leave You by Jonathan Tropper, which is, as I said, a dark comedy book about a dysfunctional Jewish American family, and when the father dies, the rest of the family find out that apparently his last dying wish was for his family to sit a Shiva after his death. Now, a Shiva is a Jewish tradition that says that after a person's death, his immediate family has to sit in the house for 7 days, and other people like neighbors, friends, other family members are coming by to pay their respect and, of course, to make sure that they have enough food, because Jewish tradition 101, there has to be lots of food. So anyway, this family, who usually don't really like spending time together and don't really get along, have to stay at the same house for 7 days, and of course, there are a lot of dirty laundry is being aired there. So about 5 years ago, I think, the movie version came out, and I remember going and watching it at the cinema, and I don't really remember a lot from the movie, but I do remember really enjoying it, laughing so hard. I personally really love dark comedy, and again, I just remember really enjoying the movie. And I also remember many people telling me that I have to read the book because the movie was good, but the book is even better. I remember the words "peeing your pants laughing" mentioned by someone. So needless to say, I had high expectations from the book. So years after I read it, and unfortunately, I have to say that I didn't really enjoy it all that much. Starting with the fact that just honestly, I didn't think it was funny at all. Now, obviously, comedy is a matter of taste, but again, I remember the movie being so funny. I laughed once, and when I say laughed, I mean kind of snort giggled, like kind of a laugh. In case you were wondering, this is no spoiler, but the part that I laughed at was when a couple is having sex and they think that they're in the privacy of a bedroom and they have no idea that everyone can hear them having very loud sex. This is the only time in a book that I laughed. However, if the book just wasn't funny, I would have been okay with that. That would have been just a drama with some light moments. There are a lot of emotional parts there. By the way, this will also be a good time to point out that I think the book was a lot better and more successful, if that makes sense, in the parts where it doesn't try to be funny. And in the more sad, emotional parts, that's where I think the book is really good. But another thing that really bothered me about the book was the fact that I couldn't stand any of the characters. Now, again, this is a problem with comedy because usually there the characters are exaggerated, but these extreme characteristics are usually balanced by a straight man, which is usually the normal person that we're supposed to identify with. And I believe in this book it was supposed to have been Judd, the middle brother who is actually telling the story from his point of view. But unfortunately, he's just another character that I couldn't stand. He wasn't as stereotypical and extreme as some of the other characters, but I still really didn't like him. And I'm sorry for comparing this to the movie again, but I just like the movie better. I don't remember exactly everything. Again, it's been a few years, but I do remember Judd being a real kind of a straight man. Oh, sorry for doing the air quotes so much in this video. Anyway, I remember Judd being a normal guy. I also remember his sister Wendy being the voice of reason. I really liking her. In the movie, in the book, she was a very irritating stereotype of the jealous woman, you know, who's never happy with the way her body looks and looks at the ass and legs and boobs of every other woman and just being jealous of them. So yeah, it was very difficult to identify with the characters, to really like them, to root for them, where every single one of them was so unlikable. And to make things worse, I also felt that the book tried to have the moral high ground, but in a very hypocritical way. You see, you get this feeling that this book, despite being a comedy, again, sorry for the air quotes. So despite the book being a comedy, it is about real life. Other books will try to sell you this idea of the perfect family, of the perfect marriage, but no, this book is about real life. And to some extent, it is. It does show problems from real life that some books or Hollywood movies, etc. try to gloss over. For example, a family who really love each other, but they can't stand being next to each other for more than 2 minutes. But despite being, let's say, realistic, on the other hand, it is also full of cliches. Like, completely full of it. From stuff like the example I gave before about Wendy, the sister who is just jealous of every other woman because apparently that's how women are, to other examples that I don't really want to talk about because they will be considered spoilers, but people just behave in a very stereotypical and cliche way. And I think that it's very ironic that on one hand, this book is trying to say, hey, everybody's trying to sell you a fairy tale. I will sell you real life, and real life is hard. But on the other hand, just everything seems like a very cookie cutter kind of cliche, just not the perfect fairy tale cliche, if that makes sense. Anyway, to conclude, I wasn't too crazy about the book. It does tackle the more emotional, sad moments a lot better than any funny moment that it tries to portray. And those moments I felt were the real, true, good parts in the book, especially tackling the whole issue of loving and hating a person at the same time. But anyway, I do recommend watching the movie. This is a little weird because it's supposed to be a book review, but yeah, my review was that the movie was a lot better. So anyway, guys, this was my take on This Is Where I Leave You. I didn't think the book was really bad, but I think that first the movie did it a lot better, and also it wasn't as good as I was expecting. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to click like to show your support, and also subscribe to my channel if you dare. And also write down in the comment section below if there is a movie that you think that is a lot better than the book on which it's based. So guys, I really hope you're staying safe and healthy and quarantined, and try not to go crazy and kill all of your housemates, because it may make your house a lot quieter, but you're just gonna spend the rest of the quarantine cleaning up after the blood and the mess in their bodies. So is it worth it, really? So bookworms, thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.